it's time to start thinking about foundation walls. So let's just get started. Under models, I'm gonna go open. Browse to my chapter 3, grab structure 10, and then click open. Let's go down to level 1. The first thing I want to do is I want to temporarily hide my grids. This is a cool little feature. Select any one of your grids. Notice we have this little temporary hide isolate button. Click that. Let's just hide category. And this little cyan box shows up saying that we have temporarily hidden or isolated an item. Once we're done, we'll just turn that back on and we'll be good. So let's add a concrete foundation wall underneath this wall. So go to structure, go to wall, click the drop down. Let's grab foundation 12-inch concrete. Let's click edit type. Let's duplicate. I'm going to call this foundation 18-inch concrete. Actually, let's call it foundation 1-foot-6-inch concrete. It makes it easier for me. Let's get rid of the 2. Click OK. Now for structure, click edit right here. Make that 1-foot-6. Click OK. Click OK. For depth, instead of unconnected, let's hit the drop down and go to top of footing. Now what I'd like to do is on the draw panel, let's click on pick lines. Location line, I want it to be wall center line. And we're going to go right around the entire perimeter, placing a foundation underneath it. Let's pick this point here. Pick this point here. Pick this point here. Pick this point here. Pick it here. Pick it here. Pick it here. And one last one on the bottom. Pick it here. Escape a couple times. Go to 3D view. Ooh. Here we go. Got a nice looking foundation wall underneath there. Let's go back down to level 1. Let's click on our little sunglasses and let's reset temporary hide isolate. Good job, you just added a foundation wall. Revit actually lets to call them wall footings, which by looking at the button makes you kind of think you're actually adding a wall, but that's not the case. You're adding a strip footing that is hosted to a foundation wall. Either way, let's jump into structure 11. Let's go to our top of footing level down here. Let's go to the structure tab. For foundation, let's click on structural foundation wall. Right here we have a bearing footing 36 by 12. We're going to fix that. Click edit type. Duplicate. I'm going to make this a bearing footing 2-foot-6 by 12 inches. Get rid of the 2. For the width, if you type in 2 space 6, Revit will know to add the feet and inches. Click OK. Now, all we can do is select the wall. So if I hover over this wall, don't select it, just hover over it and hit your tab key. It's going to select all of your foundation walls. Pick that, and there it is. If we go to a 3D view now, you will see that we have added a strip footing to the bottom of our foundation wall. If you escape a couple times, that was pretty easy. The objective of this video is to use an existing concrete column and modify it to become a pier. So in structure 12. Let's go down to top of footing under structural plans. Let's go to structure. Let's go to column. Click the drop down here and let's grab a 12 by 18. Structural rectangular column 12 by 18. Click edit type. Click duplicate. We will call this 2'6", 2'-6" by 2'/6". Click OK. B and H, 2'6", 2'6". OK. The height is going to be level 1. Perfect. So the first one I'll do, can't see it now, but when we put it in, we'll be able to. If I select this intersection, we'll see that it's going to put it in. It's going to trim everything out. Pretty cool. Let's cheat. Let's click Add Grids. Pick a window around the entire model. Let's delete a couple extras. Let's click on Finish. Here we go. Hit escape a couple times. We have a couple extras that we're going to have to delete. So go ahead and select that one, hit delete, delete that one, delete that one, delete that one, and let's delete that one. For the 3D view, let's go down to level 1. Notice that these are in the wrong spot. So I'm going to select this one, hold down my control key, select this one. I'm going to click Move. I'm going to pick this, and I'm going to move it to the left 4 feet. Hit escape a couple times, select this, hold down Control, select this, click Move. Click this point, and we are going to move it to the right 4 feet. That way, those are underneath those columns. So now let's go to a 3D view again. If we look underneath here, cool. We'll see we have a bunch of columns that are sticking into the ground. But we need one more structural element to support these now. There you go. Decided to add piers and pilasters. So let's go ahead and configure an isolated footing. Let's jump into structure 13. Let's go down to the top of footing. On the structure tab, let's grab isolated. We'll use this big chunk here. Let's click edit type. Let's click duplicate. And this will be 3'6" by 3'6" by 12 inches. And get rid of the 2. Let's click OK. Foundation thickness will be 1. Width is 3'6". Length is 3'6". And then click OK. Now this is cool because we can just select Add Structural Columns. Pick a window around everything. Click on Finish. It's too easy. So it's going to put that directly underneath these columns. If we move the column, it's going to stay where it is, unfortunately. But at least for placement, it's going to put it right underneath it. So there you go. That's how you add isolated footings. So let's model an elevator shaft. I'm going to open structure 14. I'd like to make a new level called Penthouse. So let's go down to our South Elevation. So in the project browser, let's go Elevations, South Elevation. Let's right-click on Roof, and let's go to Create Similar. On the draw panel, click the Pick Lines button. We'll make this 10 feet. Hover over Roof, and let's offset Roof up into the sky. Let's go 10 feet. Now let's turn on this side. Hit escape a couple times. Let's select level 8. Click it again, and let's rename it to Penthouse. Click Enter. Would you like to rename corresponding views? You sure do. Click Yes. Okay. Hit escape. Let's go down to level 1 structural plan. Zoom in here. You know what? I want to turn my architectural model off for a while. In my project browser, let's scroll down until we find Revit links. Let's drill into that. If we right-click on architectural.rvt, let's just unload it. Yes, we just want to unload it. We know about the undo redo, that's fine. Click OK. Now, I'm going to draw an elevator shaft in this area here. Let's go to the Structure tab. Let's click on Wall. The wall I'd like to use. Let's click the drop down here, and let's grab generic 8-inch masonry. The location line, let's make that finish face exterior. For the offset, let's make that 4 feet. For the depth, let's change that to height. That's fine. Let's change the height to penthouse. I'm going to pick a point here. Notice that my line is below it, so I'm going to hit my space bar. It's going to flip it up inside. So I'm going to pick that column to this column. Make sure your chain button is turned on. I'm going to come straight up to here. I'm going to come straight over to here. I'm going to come straight down to where we started. See how that works? Hit escape a couple times. Now I'm going to select this wall. I'm not a big fan of where these dimensions are going. These are temporary dimensions. So let's change that. Hit escape a couple times. Let's go to the Manage tab. Let's go to Additional Settings. Let's come down to where it says Temporary Dimensions. For walls, I would like to go Faces. Doors and windows, I'd like to go Openings. Now let's click OK. Now if I select one of these walls, I can see what the dimensions are on the inside face of it. So that's 14 foot 11. I want to make that 15. I'm going to select this wall. That's 11 foot 1/4. I'm going to click into here and I'm just going to make it 11. Hit Enter. That way it's kind of symmetrical. Now what I'd like to do is I want to add a foundation underneath it. So to do that, we're going to go to the Structure tab, go to the wall. Let's click this drop down here. I want to grab foundation 12-inch concrete. Let's click Edit Type. Duplicate. Let's call this foundation 8-inch concrete. Get rid of the 2. Click OK. For the structure, let's click Edit. For the thickness, that will be 8 inches. Hit Tab. Hit OK. Hit OK. The depth wants to be top of footing. That is correct. Location line wants to be wall center line. On the draw panel, let's click on Pick Lines. Zoom into this wall and hover over the center line of it. Hit your Tab key once and then pick it. We can't see it, so we should probably hit Escape a couple times. We go to a 3D view. Ooh. There we have it. What we need to do now is put a giant footing underneath this. So let's go down to our top of footing. We're going to put a big old slab in here. So under Foundation, let's click the Structural Foundation Slab button. 6 inches isn't very thick, so let's click on Edit Type. Let's see what we've got here. 6, 8, 10, 12. Let's grab that 12-incher. 12-inch foundation slab. Let's click OK. Now we're going to pick walls, as you can see here. But my offset, let's make that 6 inches. If I hover over the face of this wall and I hit my Tab key once, it's going to offset that by 6 inches. Hit escape a couple times. But we want to put a little sump pit in here. So let's click on pick walls again. Let's offset 12 inches. It looks like it won't let us. So let's click on pick lines. Let's offset that 12 inches. Let's offset the inside face of the wall. In, down, over, and down. Type TR for trim. And trim these lines out. Let's make it 2 feet. Remember how to do that. We're going to select this line right here. Instead of 1 foot, type in 2 and hit enter. It's going to move the line that we have selected. So I want to move this one down, so I'm going to select this one. Instead of 1 foot, I'm going to type in 2 and hit enter. And escape a couple times. Now that's going to put a little hole in that giant slab. Click on finish. Hit escape a couple times. Let's go to a 3D view. Whew. There we go. It's looking good. Let's get a look underneath it. There we have it. Good work. You just created an elevator shaft. What we're going to do in this video is create what's called a shaft opening. Essentially, it's going to be a void that goes all the way up. So anything like a floor, or roof, or a ceiling that passes through it will be cut out. Structural framing, however, will not be cut out. We'll have to deal with that later. Jump into structure 16. Let's go down to level 1. Let's zoom in on our masonry shaft. Go to the structure tab. Notice we have a few openings we can use. I want to click on shaft opening. On the draw panel, let's click on the pick walls icon. For the offset, let's type in 0. We hover over this wall and hit tab. It might not work because we clicked into the offset. So what I usually do when this happens, if you hold down your wheel button and kind of just pan around, that'll take the focus out of that input dialog. Now if I hover over this wall and hit tab, it should select all of them. Just pick them. Hit escape a couple times. Let's click on symbolic line. I'm going to pick a point here to here, then from here to here. And I'm going to hit escape a couple times. Now the base constraint is going to be level 1. I can turn off the base offset. I'm going to type in a 0 and hit enter. Top constraint, that's going all the way up to the penthouse. Top offset is 0, so let's click apply. Let's click finish. Escape a couple times. Let's go to a 3D view. It doesn't look like we've done anything because we don't have any floors going up through here. But if I hover over this, it says shaft opening to opening cut. If I select that, we'll see what that is. It's just this giant void that disallows anything to pass through it other than structural framing. Hit escape a couple times. So there you go. That's how you create a shaft opening. Let's jump into structure 17 and figure out on the level 1. Let's jump into our west elevation. Zooming on the west elevation here. What we need to do is we need to edit the profile of this foundation wall. Select the wall. Let's click on Edit Profile. Perfect. Now what we need to do is just kind of step this down. Notice that once we click on Edit Profile, we have these magenta lines. We can sketch anything we want. We can put little holes in it for sleeves, whatever. What I want to do is I want to create a step footing. So on the draw panel, I'm going to click pick lines. I'm going to offset 2 feet. Now I'm going to offset this line down 2 feet. Now I'm going to set my offset for 4 feet. I'm going to offset this line over 4 feet. I'm going to stop right there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to trim it. I'm going to type TR for trim. I'm going to trim this line to this line. Now I'm going to trim this line to this line. See how it's stepping it down? Excellent. On the draw panel, click Pick Lines. Let's offset 2 feet. Offset that down. Let's offset 4 feet. I'm going to offset that to the right if it won't let me. Hit escape a couple times. Click on the Modify button. If it fails, we're going to select this line. We're going to click Copy. We're going to come over this way 4 feet. Hit Enter. And we're going to trim again. Type TR for trim. From here to here. And here to here. Perfect. I want to mirror these over here. I'm going to pick a window from the left to the right. I'm going to grab all of these, just like that. On the Modify tab, I'm going to click Mirror, Draw, Axis. I'm going to find the midpoint of this line right here. Hit point and come straight up, and then hit Escape a couple times. Type TR for trim. I'm going to trim here to here. Hit Escape. Now click Finish. What's going to happen is our footing is going to break and it's going to step itself down. So what we have is a nice stepped footing. The problem is that our piers are not going down far enough. So I'm just going to take a distance. I'm guessing it's going to be 4 feet. We need to offset these 2 piers down 4 feet. Let's go to 3D view. Scroll around to the back of it. Hold down your Control key. Select that pier. Then select that pier. For the base offset, click into here. Type in -4 and hit Enter. The attached structural foundation will be moved to the bottom of the column. Good, that's what we want. Click OK. Hit Escape a couple times. It's going to tie itself right back into that. Congratulations, we have a nice stepped footing. Great, let's do that. Let's go to Structure 18. Now the idea here is we're going to add what's called an in-place family, because there's no real family or anything to compensate for the fact that we need to come in at basically a 45-degree angle almost to get that footing to step down correctly. So let's go down to our west elevation. Now let's come into our foundation wall here. I want to create an in-place family, or we're going to actually create an extrusion. Go to the Structure tab. For Component, click the drop down. Let's go Model in Place. Scroll down in your project browser till we find Structural Foundations. And then click OK. We'll call it Stepped Footing. Click OK. I want to create an extrusion. But what's going to happen when we click this is Revit doesn't know where we want to place it. So we're going to pick a plane. Click OK. Now, if we hover over one of these footings, we'll see that we can kind of select the face of it. This is where our plane starts. Now all we need to do is basically sketch out what we're going to have. So I'm going to pick a spot here. I'm going to go over 1 foot. Maybe come up at a less than a 45. I'm going to come up at maybe 117, 115. Pick a spot here, over to here. down to here. We're going to copy this around, but before we do, never sure which one we use. So I'm going to go extrusion and I'm going to type in -2 space 6 because we know our foundation is 2 foot 6 deep. We'll see. If it doesn't work, we can always fix it. Our material, if we click into where it says by category here, click this little browse button. This is going to bring up our material browser. Click into the search panel. Type in CONCRETE. Let's find concrete, cast in place, gray. Click OK. Now I'm going to pick a window around this. Now I'm going to click copy. We'll go with multiple. Go from here to here. Escape a couple times. Now I'm going to pick a window around these. I'm going to click on draw near axis. Pick this midpoint. Come straight down near it. Cool. Click finish. Click finish model. Let's go to a 3D view. That looks like it's in the right spot. What I want to do now is I want to get rid of these little extra lines that are showing up. So if we go to join geometry, click join geometry. Select your footing that's there. Now select our little chunk, pick that, and it's going to create a continuous step footing condition. Cool. So that's how you create an in-place family to fix these tricky little areas in Revit. I love it when I can tag some things such as a spot elevation and have that elevation be accurate no matter what I do with the model. Let's open up structure 19. Let's go down to our top of footing level. Send it to here. Notice that we have a bunch of steps that are going down. It's cool. We know that. But let's throw some spot elevations on it. On the Annotate tab, let's click on Spot Elevation. Notice that when we hover over all of these, it's going to give us our drops. So here we have leader shoulder. We have a few different type of elevations. I'm going to go crosshair project. That's about as ugly as we're going to get. Leader shoulder. So I'm going to pick a spot right here. Pick a spot right here. I'm going to pick another spot right here. Escape a couple times. We select this, right click, create similar. Now notice when I drop down to here, this is going to be -8. So I'm going to come out. I'm going to pick a spot right here, maybe pick a spot about right there. Hit escape a couple times. Now what we can do is if I select this -8, I can kind of copy it down to here. So select it, click copy. Pick a point like right around here somewhere. Let's come down to this spot where it's at its deepest. And see that? We can copy it down. Copy it to here. Hit escape. Select it. Right click, create similar. This is the same one. It's the same one. This one's -8, so we can click right here. Pick a spot here. Come back. And there should be 6 feet right here, so we're going to pick a spot there. A spot here. A spot there. Escape a couple times. So now we can see how this is stepping down. I'm going to select this. I'm going to click copy one more time. Base point, copy up to here. So now it tells the story how it steps down, then it steps back up. So that's it. I just wanted to show you how to tag a spot elevation. let's jump into our retaining walls model that I have saved in my Chapter 3 file. Let's go to Level 1 structural plan. Let's open this section to see what we're dealing with here. Okay, because some earth that drops straight down and goes straight over. We're going to send it down the top of footing, and then the top will set to Level 2. Perfect. Let's go back down to Level 1 structural plan. Now, let's click on structure. Let's click on wall. Let's click the drop down here, and let's grab retaining 12-inch concrete. For the location line, let's click the drop down. Let's go finish face exterior. For the base constraint, let's go to top of footing. For the top constraint, let's go up to Level 2. Location line, let's set this to finish face exterior. 16 feet high, it's a good high wall. Okay, now I'm going to come right down here, and I'm going to pick a point right here. Let's come straight up. I'm going to pick this point here, this end point. I'm going to keep coming up to where our earth moves. Come up to here, pick that point. I'm going to pick this point. And I'm going to come all the way down and pick this point. Hit escape a couple times. Let's go to a 3D view. There it is. It's a good long wall. Let's go down the top of footing. Let's go down to Level 1. Let's go to the section. And here it is. It's kind of jogging around, so let's put our footing underneath it now. So let's go to our top of footing plan. You can't see the earth, which is fine. Let's go to structure. Let's go to wall. Structural foundation, wall. Instead of bearing, click the drop down. Let's grab retaining footing. 24 by 12 by 12. Let's click edit type. Let's click duplicate. So this is going to be 4'0" by 12 inches. Let's click OK. All right, now my toe length is going to stay a foot. My heel length is going to be 3 feet. And the foundation thickness will keep at a foot. My default and extension lengths, let's send those out 2 feet. So it's going to go past the actual wall. Now I'm going to click OK. Hover over one of these walls, hit Tab, and then select it. Now we have a footing that's sticking into the earth. If we go to Level 1, double click on your section. And there we have it. Now in the middle spot, if we want that wall to go up higher, you can do a couple things. You can go to 3D view and just kind of select it and raise it up. And then raise this one up. That's not the cleanest way to do it. So if I undo both of those, I'll select both of these walls. Now create a top offset of maybe 2 feet. That way they're kind of joined together, maybe 2'6" to catch everything. Here we go. So that's how you do it. That's how you create a retaining wall.